All right, guys, welcome to the Investor's Guide of Memphis Real Estate. I'm your host, Dean Harris. As always, I'm with Douglas Skipworth. Douglas, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing great today.
That's great. Great to have you. We are bringing you this podcast to give you the boots on the ground experience to be a successful real estate investor here in Memphis.
Yes.
Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like our posts, Spotify, whatever, however you like and love those things. Please do, but especially subscribe to the YouTube channel. Show sponsors are listed below. We couldn't do this without them. They help make all this go around, all these pretty, effects and all this technology that we've got that does this.
Yeah.
They make all of that go around. So we're really happy to have them on the show. Zoom calls. I do a weekly Zoom call. You're welcome to come into that. I just open questions and answer anything I can for anybody. Dean@CrestCore.com. I'll get you there. And then the last thing I mentioned is I do help buyers and sellers. If you're buying investment deals or selling investment deals, this is what I do. Reach out to me, Dean@CrestCore.com. How are you?
Great.
Yeah, I'm great too. I'm actually better than great. I'm surprised at how well our investors are navigating in this market. They're surprising me.
Good job.
I hope it's because of the education we're giving them and that they're doing on their own. But we're not only surviving, the brokerage and the real estate side of this is thriving. I mean, it is, and I hate to talk about that because there's so many people that are in the business that are getting out, and there's a lot of people struggling to make their business work in real estate now. But we haven't sold under 35 in 4 months.
Yeah.
So
it was a huge month.
this has been a huge, our biggest ever, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm a little bashful.
Yeah, I am too.
I kind of don't want to get into
that
that because there's so many people struggling. But here's the reason to tell you that.
Okay.
You're an investor listening. They're listening to us. What I'm trying to tell you is there is activity in the investment world. A lot of it.
Man.
A lot of it. I looked yesterday on the board. You as our broker have access to this information. You were showing me this yesterday. We're second in the city in transactions.
Come on,
the first person that's first, that's an investor agent. The one that's third is an investor agent.
Now, yes.
So what I'm trying to tell you is it isn't just me. I'd love to be able to tell you that I'm the only one flowing and going. That's not it. There's the top people that are selling real estate in our city are investor agents. There's investor activity happening.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yes.
Like
a lot.
Way more than what we're accustomed to and used to, even in the good market, if I can be honest with you.
And more than the national media would allow you to believe.
Oh, they'll tell you it's horrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Can't. No, I mean, I'm really not exaggerating. I'm happy to share all these numbers. 38 closings last month. Almost 40.
Yeah.
So
not count sides, over 50 sides.
Over 50 sides.
Anyway,
so what that means is
awesome.
there are people coming in and buying real estate. And the topic of today's show is why buying now makes sense. I'll even share what I wrote to you. I wrote in parentheses, yawn.
Yeah.
Because
I heard that before.
do this a lot.
Yeah.
I talk about this a lot. But you have been introduced to segments that I have done from years past. Our producer is so good at this at showing you guys how right I am. He makes me look great. Yeah. But a year ago or 2 years ago, the time was now.
I wrote down 18 for the past 18 months. We've been saying now is the time.
Is now.
The time is now. Now is the time. Like buy. But also sell. And I'm with you. It's not like, hey, look back and we were right. That's not what we're trying to do. No. What we're saying is we're putting advice out there and we're telling you what we're seeing. Yes. And what we're seeing as advisors to you, the investor, is it's still an opportunity, and the opportunity in the future is gonna look different.
Last podcast that we did last week was
just the BRRRR and
the
all
BRRRR
the
strategy and all the opportunities.
Yeah.
And now we're telling you why that you should be doing that now. BRRRRing,
kind of the reason behind.
The reason behind that is kind of now. So if you heard me talk on the last podcast, I talked about all of these BRRRR strategies are properties that I have to sell. I asked you to call me or email me and let's talk about that.
You got a lot of
I
calls
got
for that.
several emails already from it.
That's
I'm
good.
excited about that response. Now, large institutions are selling off. Okay. They bought. Everybody
Yes,
knows they bought a
Yeah.
gazillion homes, and
But it was a feeding frenzy, right? When you go to the buffet and you just get everything off the buffet, then you come back and tell me like, yeah, I don't need that.
that's
And
exactly
that's all they did.
what's
and that's
happening.
No big and totally planned. This isn't like, oh my gosh, the things are terrible. It's like,
they knew this was coming.
They knew this was coming. This was part of their strategy.
Part of the
Buy
strategy.
as many as you can, as fast as you can, and then get rid of the
and
rest.
then get rid of what you don't want.
Yes.
Which what they don't want doesn't mean that what I have is bad. These are
One
all
man's-
in great zip codes.
Yeah, one man's trash, another man's treasure. Making gold out of somebody else's garbage, whatever you want to call it. There's an opportunity.
That's right. And they're
Yeah.
selling. One thing I forgot to do, I'm going to do it right now.
Okay.
I'm going to do the deal of the week. I just sat here and skipped
Because
it
it's
and
a
went right
burr.
through it because it's a burr and I'm not going to stop it. So we'll go back to our large institutions selling, but I want to stop and do this. Deal of the week. I did it last week and I just told you it was 50 or 60 burr properties. So let's get a little more specific today. Sorry to interrupt us.
This is great. No, this is
3255 Glen Logan Drive. GLEN, 2 words, Logan Drive. That's in
Bartlett.
38134. That's Bartlett.
Yeah.
3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,515 square feet. Property taxes on this annually are $1,787.90.
Okay.
Just
Not,
under
not,
two.
not even $2,000.
No, it's a $1,500 rental. 134.9, I believe, is the list price right now. It needs 25 in work, and you're like, "Well, Dean, is that a great deal?" It's a burr.
That's a burr.
It works. Your ARV is going to be in that 175, 180 range. You're going to come in here for 25 or 30 grand and fix it. Now, man, we offer a little less.
Yeah, you never know.
125. The deal of the week. I'm going to have deals of the week for burrs for probably the next 3 months. So prep yourself, understand what's coming. But the deal of the week, 3255 Glen Logan. If you have any questions, email me, dean@crestcore.com. Large institutions are selling.
Yes.
They bought too many. This was the practice. This was the plan.
This was the plan.
They
Absolutely.
knew this was going to happen
Yeah.
because they have, hundreds of vacant homes and they don't have 25 crews of construction guys that can do it. They just knew this was coming. But what they thought, because of there's so many billions, let's scoop everything up that we can. And then just like the buffet, whenever we're full,
or
we'll just shove the rest back.
And another example is like the football training camp, right? When you get all your players, you get them, and you start whittling down till the season starts.
Yes.
And you got your core group.
Yes.
And that's all they did here. It's like, hey, this might work. This might not work. It didn't work. So so now they're getting rid of it.
Now they're moving. They're not going to be
This
the
was
only
planned.
one. I've heard of another one that's beginning to
good.
sell.
It makes sense.
It makes
totally
sense.
makes sense.
So what I'm trying to tell
from
you
where I'm
is
sitting.
when I say why buy now, this is why. You might think and you look at the news or read the news, you do, I shouldn't. What I'm trying to tell you is there is an opportunity right now, right in front of your face to burr and to get cheap properties that need rehab. Okay? It's now. It ain't going to be in 2 years when the rate comes back down and the prices go back up. We talked a little bit last week about this interest rate is not going to stay. You need to collect good properties. If I could buy 20 right now with a terrible interest rate, if I had them, I'd buy 20 right now.
Yeah.
And then when the rate comes down sooner or later, I'm not going to make any money on these. It's going to be terrible cash flow. Might even
You refinance.
You refinance.
It's the
when
same
that rate
strategy.
comes
We've
down.
talked about this before. It's the same strategy of hard money. Hard
Same
money is
thing.
expensive, but if you factor it in and you use it as a short-term tool, if that's what you're saying here is you're buying property now,
Yes.
and you're paying a higher rate. Well, it's the same thing with hard money. You do that, and then you go refinance it
That's
when
right.
the time is right, and it's a long-term play. And
100%. And I'm a little more animated about this topic
Yeah.
than normal.
because it's what you yourself are doing right this second.
It is what's happening today. When I'm done with this,
Yes.
when I finish this recording,
Yes.
I'm going to go back into my office, and the first things I'm doing, I've got emails about burr properties that they're asking questions
Yes.
about. So,
Yes.
I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
it's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I'm thinking about like the Krispy Kreme hot donut sign, right?
Yeah.
It comes on. That's what it is. But here's the deal.
That's so true.
Here's the deal. Sometimes when you drive by a Krispy Kreme or you walk up and the line is out the door or like a Chick-fil-A, the drive-through is out into the street.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Krispy Kreme just flicked on the hot donut sign, and there aren't any cars in the parking lot, and there's a couple people in the restaurant or a couple cars. It's like
Wow,
You
here's
can
my
just
chance.
here's my chance. You can just walk right in and get up one of those hot donuts.
I can't reiterate what you're saying right now enough. I don't know with this podcast. I don't know how to be any more animated without coming across as a weirdo. I just can't tell you how serious that and how
The
enthusiastic
competition
I am.
is low,
Yes.
and the opportunity is big.
Yes, the Krispy Kreme sign just came on, and there isn't but 2 people in line. So
Get in line.
hit up the donut stand. Mismanagement is beginning to show up. So why another reason why we're buying right now? Mismanagement is beginning to show.
Yes.
You've heard me. If you've heard me once, you've heard me 10 times go through this quick scenario. The guy that owns 4, he just had 1 go vacant. It needs 20 grand. His second tenant over here is now late on the rent. Well, his 2 others that are paying rent aren't really even covering the mortgages for these 4, right? He doesn't have the 20 grand to rehab. So what's going to happen? The slightest little thing that happens again, he's got to sell.
Yeah.
Mismanagement is coming. I'm about to list in August with another seller separate from these hedge funds, a 25 house package of houses that have been mismanaged. They've told me they've been mismanaged. So I am here to those, and these might not be for a lot of my clients, but what I'm trying to say is
with CrestCore property management.
no,
that's outside of that.
Yeah, let's make sure.
I just want to clear that.
That's institution
that's right.
that had their own
because
and they
you're
mismanaged.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. Our CrestCore clients, I don't get mismanagement. But what I am saying is across the board, you're going to have that person that did not take care of their property. You're going to have that person that didn't do the rehab that was advised by the management company.
That's right.
They don't want to fix the toilet. They want to patch it. They don't. That's all showing up. It's going to begin to show up even more. So mismanage it. Mismanagement is another reason why you could.
Well, and I think we've talked about this. There are 3 deadly sins as an investor that you have to avoid if you want to succeed.
Yep.
You can't overpay for the property. You can't over leverage it and borrow too much against it. And you can't mismanage it. If you do one of those 3, you're most likely going to fail as an investor. And so we don't want you to do any of those 3. No. But the past few years, those 2 sins, the increase in the market for the rent price and appreciation has kind of overshadowed if you paid too much or if you're over leveraged it, because the inflation or the appreciation, those don't matter. But mismanagement is showing.
Oh, it's out there.
Mismanagement is showing.
That's
why you're not
haircut.
seeing the first 2. It's a
bad tie. It's a bad haircut,
that you can see. And so now it's a little tight and it's harder to manage that. And if you've mismanaged it, there is an opportunity for somebody else to come in and manage it right.
That person's either going to dump money into it to clean it up, or they're going to sell it. 9 times out of 10, they're going to sell it.
Yeah.
They don't want to dump. They'll start over.
It's start over. It's easy because chances are they can still get out because of they didn't overpay and they didn't over leverage it. Because if they did, the market has corrected that.
That's exactly right.
So now they can. It's still a good time to sell. I can get out.
That's
and
why
I can
it's
start
mismanagement that's showing up.
Correct.
And not the over leverage, not that it's mismanagement that's showing up right now.
Because the market can't correct mismanagement. It can correct overpaying and over leveraging.
Yes, it
but
can.
it can't correct
mismanagement. You heard me talk about these large institutions selling off. Why do you think that is? That's mismanagement. There's mismanagement. There's all kinds of ways that you can mismanage.
Yes.
Mismanagement is showing up. Better and better deals every day. Another reason why we're buying, it makes sense to buy right now. Better and better deals every day. Marry the house, date the rate. We've gone through this. I'm going to say it again. You're getting better pricing on homes.
Yes.
You're getting better deals from sellers. They're more willing to pay closing costs. They're doing more things that they've been willing to do.
Agree.
They're better deals. Is that rate high? It is. But I've said it on the last podcast and we'll say it again here. You're going to marry this great house. I do it with the tenants too, by the way. If somebody brings me a great house in a great area and a bad tenant, I'm going to consider buying it anyway. That tenant's not forever.
They're not on the mortgage. No. They're on the lease.
They're on the lease and that runs out.
And that runs out.
I can get them out and keep a great home, right? Same thing with the interest rate. I can take that terrible interest rate right now, or what we think's terrible. I can take that interest rate that's not so good right now and buy the home and not really like my numbers and my math.
Yes.
But I love that house.
Love it.
Great rental area, tenant base is strong.
Where you want to be.
Brick, 3-2, whatever. And I got plenty of brick 3-2s listed. So my point is that take that house, add it to your portfolio, and adjust the numbers later when you can. because it's coming. The last podcast you talked about it, the interest rates are going to drop. They're not going to get down to 3.5. If you're waiting on that, you're going to be waiting forever. It's just, I don't believe that's ever getting down there again.
Yeah. They might go sub 5, but that's going to be a little bit, but they'll get back and then you can do it. But the demand is going to be pushing. So prices are going to come up.
That's right. And as we talked about this on the last podcast, we'll say it again on this one. If you think that when the rates go down, it's going to be a lot easier to buy, you're dead wrong. The pool that you're in right now, there's a few people in the shallow end, 1 or 2 in the deep end. Wait till that rate gets down to 5.5 or 6. That pool's gonna be flooded. You'll have no water. That's the point I'm trying to make. And it's investing. Right. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not guaranteeing anything. But here's what I am telling you: as an investment,
yes,
this is about as solid as it comes.
Yes,
I can just tell you that your home is going to appreciate. I can tell you that the rent is going to go up on some level.
Yes.
And I can tell you that the rate's going to come down. Yes. I don't know exactly when and what, but I can tell you that those 3 things are going to happen, right?
Yes.
So to me, it's getting better deals, which is always the idea. I mean, I think if you polled investors and you polled them and you said, hey, would you rather have a better deal or a better rate? What do you think? I mean, what would you say?
Everybody's going to say a better deal. Yeah. Right? I'm like, well, that's not even a question.
Yeah, you
like,
want to pay $220,000 with 3.5%, or you want to pay $165 at 8%? I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Give me the 165 at 8. I'll figure the rate out later.
I'll figure the rate out. And by the way, I don't want to have a loan on it forever.
No.
No. But I'd love to have that house at 165.
But you'd love
forever.
to have that house. Man, I hope this resonates. It's like when you and I are sitting here talking and recording this, it's like, how can I come through that little camera more and make this any more in your face? If you're a legit investor, if this is casual listening to you and you're
just learning, that's hobby, great. If you're learning, that's great. But when you're ready,
if you're active and you're ready,
Dean.
This is exactly what you should be doing. Let's see. Better and better deals. Banks and mortgage companies are still loaning. I had lunch with my main banker last week or 2 weeks ago. He wanted to know if I had any more deals. He wanted to know, of course. I mean, no one's borrowing. There's a lot of people that are on the sidelines. It's a great time to go to your banker and say, hey, what about this deal? Can I structure it this way? Do you like it if I do it this way? And it might not be the most traditional way, but it works for you.
Yeah.
Your banks might be more willing to work with you now. There's not as many people.
Yeah, and I was going to say, there's another opportunity to share just some things we've seen, to share some information is if you have a bank relationship now's the time to deepen that relationship because the bankers are a little slow. They're not doing a lot of new stuff. So this is an opportunity to do that. If you don't have a bank, now is an opportunity to develop the relationship because the bankers don't have a lot of time.
They're opening the doors for you.
They're opening the door and they might not just roll out they might not give you the keys to the vault, but they're willing to hear the story now because they've got the time. They're not blowing and going.
Right. That's kind of what I meant.
This is a great opportunity.
If you want to go in and talk about a certain scenario or talk about a deal that maybe is a little atypical from what you're used to, now's the time to talk to your banker, find out what their appetite is. I know when my guy said, because I asked him for a specific thing. I'd like to buy several at one time and I structured a certain way I'd want to do it. And you know what he said? I'll talk to the board. I think we can do it.
Yes.
3 years ago, 2 years, hell, a year ago, they'd have never done it. He'd have been like, Dean, let's stick to what we've been doing.
Yeah.
First thing that came out of his mouth when I said, because look, you know how it's a negotiation. You shoot for the moon, right? Ask exactly how you want it and then see what they come back with. I asked exactly how I wanted it in the first, I think so. Like, let's take a little bit. And I know a year ago they wouldn't have.
Right.
Because of the rates and where they were. They didn't have to.
Yeah.
So that's my point now. Keep up your relationship with your bankers. Talk with your banks now. I don't care if you're talking about the ones here in Memphis. Your hometown, get a line of credit from your current bank.
And I think also looking like show sponsor Coreland.
Yes.
Coreland Financial. Hard Money. They're doing deals all day, every day. They are set to have their biggest month. We are filming July 2023 will be their biggest month of origination volume for people doing deals. They're doing Burr to the buy and hold, and they're still doing fix and flip.
I think you've heard the last episode and this one, record months from the brokerage, record months from our hard money lender. That's not a boasting topic. That's a informational.
It's informational. There's still opportunity out there.
There are people buying, and there's still opportunity. So today's, I'm a little more animated about this one because I get a little more passionate about it because I have people challenge me about this all the time, and that's okay. I don't mind the challenge. But what I am here to tell you is, time is now to buy. Your interest rate's going to change. but the deals, I'm afraid, aren't going to get this good for another long time. I mean, in other words, what I'm saying is once we come out of this what you're talking about an 18-month stretch here of the interest rate kind of being where it's going to be, and it's no coincidence that 18 months times up with an election, but it is what it is. So it's going to stay the same until then.
Then again, I know we talked about this last podcast, but there's pent up demand because sellers haven't wanted to leave.
Yep.
Those low interest rates.
Yep.
So they're going to want to leave. Also, millennials as a generation, as far as first time homebuyers, they're going to be in the market bigger than we've ever had a first time homebuyer market.
And they're not jaded.
And so this opportunity is just, the demand is going to be, the supply is going to increase, but the demand is going to be such that I think the home prices will continue to appreciate. So that's something I didn't realize that as a beginner. That was I am passing on knowledge that I didn't take 100%. When I was 20 years ago buying property. I did not realize I left my econ textbook on the shelf instead of getting it out and going, okay, what's Econ 101? And I lost on appreciation of prices. And I also lost on appreciation of rents. Even though my mentors, and I've told you this before, rent is a function of wages. It's a percentage of wages.
Yeah, I love it.
And wages increase over time. And I just thought, oh no, this house is always going to be worth $50,000 and rent for $800.
No, it's worth now 120 and rents for $1,000.
Or it's going to be worth 80 and rent for 800.
Yeah.
It was a 1%er back then.
Yeah.
Now that house is worth $200,000 and renting for close to $1,500 to $2,000.
So see,
and I didn't want to pay the 1% rule. This is way back then.
Yeah,
I missed the boat. But I'm not missing the boat.
Same
now.
thing that applies now. I'm not either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm buying more houses this year than I've ever bought.
You are. I love it. Amen, man.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, Dean@CrestCore.com. I don't typically get on here. I did it last week and we'll do it this week too. But the Burr properties are here. I just listed 40. Let's get on the phone, get on my email. Let's find out if there's anything out there that can work for you. Dean@CrestCore.com. Anything else?
No, great show. If you need to learn more, I just say subscribe right now. If you're ready to act, contact Dean.
There we go. Thank you guys for listening. See you soon.
Bye.